Keshavadhrita Mina Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Kshitirati vipulatare tishtati tava prishthe dharani dharana kina chakra garishthe. Keshavadhrita Kurma Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Vasati Dashana Shikhare Dharani Tavalagna Shashini Kalanka Kaleva Nimagna. Keshavadhrita Shukara Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tissue. Tavakara Kamala Nakam Adbhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringham. Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Chalayasi Vikramane Balimadbhuta Vamana Padanaka Nirajanita Jana Pavana. Keshavadhrita Vamanarupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Kshatriya Rudhira Maye Jagadapagata Papam Snapayasi Payasi Shamita Bhavatapam Keshavadhrita Bhrigupati Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpatim Kamaniyam Dashamukhamoli Balim Ramaniyam. Keshavadhrita Rama Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Vahasiva Pushi Vishadeva Sanang Jaladabham Halahati Bhiti Milita Yamunabham. Keshavadhrita Haladhara Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Nindasi yagya vidheraha Shruti jatam Sadaya hridaya darshita pashughatam. Keshavadhrita Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Nachaneva nidhane kalayasi karavalam Dhumaketamiva kimapi karalam. Keshava Dhrita Kalki Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Shri Jaya Deva Kaveridam Uditam Shrinu Sukhadam Shubhadam Bhavasaram. Keshavadhrita Dashavidharupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamala Varena Kamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam. Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamala Varena Kamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam. Tavakara Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamalavarena Kamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Kanubrinam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Bhagwan Nrsimhadeva ki jai Sri Nrsimha Chaturdashi ki jai Sri Prahlad Maharaja ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, Text 17, Translation and Commentary by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Satyam Vidhatum Nija Bhritya Bhashitam Vyaptim Cha Bhuteshu Akhileshu Cha Atmanaha Adrishyata Ati Adbhuta Rupam Udvahan Stambhe Sabhayam Na Mrigam Na Manusham Satyang Vidhatung Nijabhritya Bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhutesh vakileshu chatmanaha Adrishyatat yadbhuta rupam udvahan Stambhe sabhayang namrigam namanusham Satyam Vitatum Nijabritya Bhashitam
Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyadhyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyadhyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham
Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Drishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham
Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha Adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham
Satyam, true. Vidhatum, to prove. Nija, bhrita, bhashitam, the words of his own servant. Prahlad Maharaj, who had said that his Lord is present everywhere. Vyaptim, the pervasion. Cha, and bhuteshu, among the living entities and elements. Akhileshu, all. Atma, cha, also. Atmaha, of himself. Adrishyata, was seen. Ati, very. Adbhuta, wonderful. Rupam, form. Udvahan, taking. Stambhe, in the pillar. sabhayam, within the assembly, not mrigam, an animal, nor manusham, a human being, to prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial. In other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. Purport. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, "Where is your Lord? Is he present in this pillar?" Prahlad Maharaj fearlessly replied, "Yes, my Lord is present everywhere." Therefore, to convince Hiranyakashipu that the statement of Prahlad Maharaj was unmistakably true, the Lord appeared from the pillar. The Lord appeared as half lion and half man, so that Hiranyakashipu could not understand whether the great giant was a lion or a human being. To substantiate Prahlad's statement, the Lord proved that his devotee, as declared in the Bhagavad-gita, is never vanquished. Kaunteya pratijani hi name bhaktah pranashyati. Prahlada Maharaj's demoniac father had repeatedly threatened to kill Prahlad, but Prahlad was confident that he could not be killed since he was protected by the Supreme Lord. By appearing from the pillar, the Lord encouraged his devotee, saying in effect, "Don't worry, I am present here." By manifesting his form as Nrsimhadeva, the Lord also preserved the truth of Lord Brahma's promise that Hiranyakashipu was not to be killed by any animal or any man. The Lord appeared in a form that could not be said to be fully a man or a lion. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Shrishtham Anumapi Shachiputra Matra Surupam Rupam Tasya Gajam Urupurim Maturim Goshtavartim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natos Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagarna Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya-devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagarna Lalita Shri Vishaka Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tina Smarani Hoy Bigna Binasha Anaya Shri Hoy Nijavan Chita Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What is he doing? Coming out of a pillar. Why is he doing that? Various reasons that's described here. To fulfill the order, to fulfill the words of his devotee. Both Prahlad and Brahma. Oh, I think we're missing part of the purport there. That Brahma had said to Hiranyakashipu, given him the boon, that you'll not be killed by any man or animal, or in the day, or in the night, or on the ground, or in the water, or in the sky, inside or outside. What else? Anything else? Day or night, I said. Any weapon. Yeah. Inside or outside, I said. Yeah. So he took this form to fulfill that. Then, what else? Living or dead. Won't be killed by, you won't get a dead body and smash someone on the head with it. Animate or inanimate. Won't be killed by a rock being thrown on his head. Maybe. Why does he come? Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya tadushkritam dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever there is a decline of dharma and an upswing of adharma, then he comes to protect, to uplift the sadhus, and to destroy the demons. He comes in every age, and particularly to uplift the sadhus, even more than to destroy the demons. So there are various reasons given. We'll find in the 8th chapter of the 1st canto of Bhagavatam. No, not missing. Okay. We'll find in the 8th chapter of the 1st canto of Bhagavatam, Kunti Devi is discussing why does Krishna come? And so many reasons. Kechit ahura ajangjatam. Different people give different reasons why the unborn is born. The root reason? To have fun. He enjoys himself. He's having fun, fooling Hiranyakashipu. And all these other reasons, they're all included in that. They're all uplifting the devotees, destroying the demons, establishing dharma. They're all included. Whatever he does is the same as what we do, as we're part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have the same tendency. So our tendency is to always act for pleasure and to try to avoid unpleasantness. So that comes from him. He's enjoying himself. And part of the fun is to show that no one can outwit him. And part of the fun is being adbhuta. This word is used. Ati adbhuta. Adbhuta means, it's usually translated as wonderful. Nabhuto. It never was seen in the past. Never any such thing in the past. At least not within memory. Because although the Nrsimhadeva comes repeatedly within the material world, and there are so many material universes, which means that the word universe doesn't really fit. But he comes and then he's forgotten. Even Lakshmi was surprised to see this form. So he's adbhuta. And this adbhuta rasa is the basis of all the rasas. It's wonder. It's something unexpected. It always seems new. So he's having fun, doing imaginable things, unimaginable things. Now we say, Nrsimhadeva, we all know the story of Nrsimhadeva, but at the time it was unimaginable. It was unimaginable to Hiranyakashipu how he could be killed. He didn't ask to be protected from viruses. Krishna could have killed him by a virus, unless he wore his mask. No, in Georgia they don't wear masks for coronavirus. But that wouldn't have been much fun, would it? dying from a virus. Where's the pastimes of Krishna if he's just killed by an invisible virus? So Krishna wanted to have some fun. That's why he engineered this whole pastime, right? Jai and Vijay, they're there at the door of Vaikuntha, and Krishna wants to fight with someone. But he can fight with anyone, but he wants to fight with someone. Should be someone on the same level, right? Nowadays they have women's boxing matches, which when we old-timers were kids, it was unimaginable. So that's also something unimaginable. But you want to put the champion of the world male against a woman, she's not going to last for the first round. It wouldn't be allowed unless she's a trans. That might be allowed. But then she wouldn't become a trans because she wanted to win the boxing. He wanted to win the boxing champion. Couldn't do it as a man, so I can't say that. I'm not going to win any boxing championships. Not in this body. It would be really unimaginable. So he's doing something. Is it a man or is it a lion? It depends where you look first. The devotees look at the feet. They see the feet. And the non-devotees look at the head because they want to... Ooh, you. Give him a headbutt, maybe. He's a lion. You can't say he's a lion. Can't say he's a human being. Is it a minotaur? You know what a minotaur is? Who knows what a minotaur is? You know. It's a, what is it? Bull's head with a man's body. And what's a griffin? It's something like that also. Multiple animals. See, he's well educated. So is it a man or is it a bull or is it a what is it? It's Nrsimhadeva Bhagavan. Even if he comes in the form of Krishna, he's not a man or an animal. Atimartya, that word is used in relation to Krishna and Balaram. Atimartyena Bhagavan. What is the next line? Gura kapata manusha. He's more than a human, but he looks like a human because he's cheating. Kapata literally means cheating. So he's cheating, pretending to be a human. But he's more than human. He's above the status of being a human. But then again, Krishna Jate Kela Sarvatam Naralila Narabapu Taha Sharup. Of all the forms, all the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in the human form, that is the topmost. And that is his very original form. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. So is he a human? Well, Hiranyakashipu might have protested if Krishna had come and smashed him with his flute and said, hey, you're a human, you're not supposed to do that. Hey, Brahma, what are you doing? Come, Brahma, tell this guy with the flute to get out of here. So he came half man, half lion. And whatever he did, all his pastimes are adbhuta, astonishing, unimaginable. All of them. Matsya, little fish, gets a little bigger, little bigger, little bigger, and then there's no body of water big enough to contain him but the ocean. Similarly, Varahadev, pops out of one of Brahma's 8 nostrils. And little thing, and then all of a sudden becomes so huge that he can pick up the earth planet on his snout. Narasimha, Vamana, it was unimaginable to Shukra. No, he could understand something's going on. But he didn't know exactly how, but he knew that this is Vishnu. He's going to cheat you. But Bali Maharaj, it was unimaginable to anyone. He covered the whole universe in 3 steps. Is that right? 2 steps. 2 steps. And then he put his foot on the head of Bali Maharaj, which he thought was a greater feat than putting his... Anyway, he's conquering over the whole universe, but if he can put his foot on his devotee and show, this is my devotee, then he feels that is more. Rama. What did Ram do? That's, again, we find that Ravana, he took boons, but he was puffed up. No, he didn't say, no human will kill me. So he came in the form of a human and overcame the forces of Ravana with his army of monkeys and bears. And he did so many things, but he didn't overdo it, you could say, in the sense that he was very much in the consciousness, I'm a human. So he didn't do things like showing his universal form. He kept within the boundaries of a human just about. But for instance, when Sugriva was doubtful that you can kill Vali, do anything to help me with Vali, what did Ram do? He led his bow forth, went through all the trees, came back again. Then, showing the universal form, that's unimaginable. We can't imagine what is lifting Govardhan hill. Little finger of the left hand, small boy. Unimaginable that God steals butter. What does your God do? Well, he throws people into hell most of the time. And then when they're all in hell, he sits down on his cloud and says, ah, ha, 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 and laughs at them, along with Thomas Aquinas, who was also looking forward to doing that. Saint Thomas Aquinas. He'll come as a thief, steal butter. Stealing the clothes of the gopis. Now that's really not proper, is it? He's dharma samstapanat. He comes for re-establishing dharma, and he steals the clothes of the gopis. And in that way he establishes the dharma that I am the supreme enjoyer. If you do it, I'll send you to hell. I do send people to hell, but that's not the only thing I do. What about Buddha? What unimaginable things did he do? There are so many stories of Buddha which came up much later. They were compiled. But his philosophy is reincarnation, yes, but Atma, no. There's no Atma. How can you imagine what is getting reincarnated? And then to substantiate that, that's the word Srila Prabhupada has used. He gave, the Buddhists have made the most adbhuta philosophies, all kinds of amazing, complex philosophies to try to explain what Buddha taught, which doesn't make any sense. And they'll agree with that too. It doesn't make any sense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did he do? Saving Jagai and Madhai, that's always cited as the great exploit of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Saving Jagai and Madhai, Rupa and Sanatan said, that wasn't actually very wonderful, but you're saving us. That's very well. They were Brahmins from Navadvip, and they didn't serve mlechas like we did, serving cow killers like we did. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, unimaginable. Who could do it? Who could give Radha Mahima, Prema Rasha Shima, Jagate Janatoke? Who but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could give knowledge of the glories of Radha? So all the avatars, they do something exceptional. Otherwise, what's the point of being God? If you just come and you just get a job in Walmart, and probably some of the people working in Walmart are thinking I'm God. It's quite likely. You have to do some daydreaming to survive in that job. So, the only problem is that they're not God. Why are you working in Walmart? It's my Leela. So Krishna could have killed Hiranyakashipu by any other means, but he wanted to have some fun. And he wasn't going to. And also Hiranyakashipu, he's a respectable person. I mean, you better respect him, otherwise he'll kill you. He's a very powerful person. So you don't want to just kill him by a flu virus. It should be something commensurate with his status. You have to give some respect to him. No, he just walking down the road and he slips on a banana skin and breaks his skull. There's got to be something more honorable than that. Just like for the Kshatriyas, it's not considered a very honorable birth to death, to die on their bed. If they die in battle, that is glorious. That also after killing Hiranyaksha, Varahadev said, Brahma said, oh, what a glorious death. He had a glorious death. So Nrsimha was beyond the Hiranyakashipu's imagination, and he's beyond the imagination of the Western psyche. What does your God do? Well, sometimes he comes in the form of half man and half lion and rips the intestines out of Hiranyakashipu and kills a lot of others also. There's blood all over the place. So we in the Western world couldn't have imagined Nrsimhadeva if Srila Prabhupada hadn't come to inform us about Nrsimhadeva. There was a court case, it must have been late 1970s or early 1980s, in which evidence was given against the devotees. They showed a picture of Nrsimha. This is what they say is God. This was in Boston, I believe. I heard this from Niranjan Maharaj. Damodar, he's probably doing his puja. So the judge himself, because it was a brainwashing case, so the judge himself said, we're not here to judge anyone's religion. Case dismissed. Do they say case dismissed in America in the law courts? It's based on English law. So when they dismiss a case, it's the case dismissed. If Srila Prabhupada hadn't come, we wouldn't be here celebrating the ripping apart of Hiranyakashipu's intestines by Nrsimhadeva. So I'll speak something about Srila Prabhupada and Nrsimhadeva. among the avatars of the Lord, Krishna and Rama in the Vedic culture, whatever remnants of Vedic culture are going on in India among Hindus, Krishna and Rama are spoken of more than others. And then also Nrsimhadeva. More, Krishna and Rama, and then Nrsimhadeva. And others we don't hear so much about. Matsya, Varaha, Matsya Kurma Varaha. And number 4 is Narasimha. Even many people may have not heard these names. Vamana, Parashuram, Rama, everyone's heard of. Rama, then Balaram, Buddha, Kalki, and there are so many avatars. So Srila Prabhupada spoke more about Narasimha than others. He's one of the top avatars, you can say. He's very important in our lives here in the material world for 2 reasons. One is for protecting the devotees from the demons, and also for killing the demons in our hearts. Randhaya, Randhaya, Tamo Grasa Grasa. Kill all the demons of the bad desires. Karma Shayan, the desires for material enjoyment. Prahlad Maharaj also, his benediction. What is that verse he says? Yadidasasi me kaman varangsha varashat varadashaba kamanam hriti samroham bhavadastu vrinevaram. If you're the best of the givers of benediction. If you want to give me a benediction, clear all this junk out of my heart. All the bad desires in my heart. He didn't ask for love of God. Why is that? He may have thought himself unqualified for that. You can't have both. You can't have both things. So, Srila Prabhupada and Narasimhadeva, one of the foundational aspects of the Krishna consciousness movement in the West is bringing the whole culture of Krishna consciousness, the whole full culture. People don't know. Lokasya janato vidvangs chakre satvata sanghitam. People don't know about Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to bring the whole culture, which means, just like I was saying, in India at least people have heard of Krishna and Rama. Maybe they haven't heard of Narasimha. Maybe. And many people nowadays haven't heard of Varahadev, but pretty much everyone's heard of Krishna and Rama. But in the Vedic culture, yeah, everyone knows. The Veda, and even the Muslims and the Jains and everything, they all know about Nrsimhadeva and no, about Krishna and Rama nowadays. So Srila Prabhupada, he brought the Bhagavatam and he was translating that, but a picture, what is it? A picture is worth 1,000 words, something like that. There's a saying like that, said to be a Chinese saying. But everything comes from the Vedic culture originally. So Srila Prabhupada, one of the first things he did was to get pictures painted. And he would show prints, Brijbasi, that Brijbasi company there in Mathura. The prints, and Prabhupada would say, you copy, make something along these lines. So one of the first ones was Nrsimhadeva. He had Jadurani paint, Nrsimhadeva. So she brought it back. Srila Prabhupada looked, said, more blood. So she had to go back and put more blood. Then she came back again, Prabhupada looked again, said, more blood. It must have been a lot of blood. So we hear also in the Bhagavatam, Krishna, he was killing so many followers of Jarasandha. There were rivers of blood. Religion of peace. Sometimes the Christians in India challenge us like this. Your God is always killing people. And our Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Well, we'll get round to that a little later. Why Srila Prabhupada discusses like that. But anyway, he's killing everyone, one way or the other. Whether you die by coronavirus or at the hands of Narasimhadeva, at the nails of Narasimhadeva, or peacefully in your bed. You don't know if they died peacefully. We think peaceful, but they may have been choking, trying to breathe. We don't know. We think it's a peaceful death. We don't know if they die in their sleep. But everyone is ultimately killed by God. So when he personally comes to kill, yeah, it's spectacular. He's not going to kill by sitting in a bunker in Las Vegas and like some computer game, you send some drone off somewhere to Iraq and kill someone. You do it personally, and with a lot of show, ostentatiousness. Otherwise, what are people going to? You're going to have devotees singing about your pastimes. There has to be something to sing about, right? If we're going to glorify Krishna, well, he was hiding away in a bunker and he sent a drone. Come on, there's got to be something better than that. So something worth talking about. So lots of blood. You may think, well, that sounds horrible, but that's also fun. I mean, what kind of fun? Well, people go to see movies with lots of blood, right? So there must be some kind of fun in it. Where they go to see horror movies. Why do they go to see horror movies? There's some kind of fun. That's also one kind of fun, right? There's among the rasas, bibhatsa, horrible rasa. That's there also. And then in killing, there's also the vira rasa, the mood of heroism. And also there's, in this case, vatsalya rasa, because he's seeing Prahlad like my little boy. So different moods are expressed in different ways. In May 1967, Srila Prabhupada had the pastime of having a stroke and being paralyzed. So he asked that a picture of his spiritual master be put on the wall in front of him. So Achyutananda taped it there to the door facing Srila Prabhupada. And devotees came and they thought, they're afraid Srila Prabhupada is going to leave the world now. So he told them to chant Hare Krishna. Then he told them to chant to Nrsimha, should pray to Nrsimhadeva. They'd already been introduced by the picture of Nrsimhadeva. And Srila Prabhupada told them to pray to Nrsimhadeva, and the prayer should be that our master has not finished his work. And then he taught the devotees, that was the first time he taught to the prayers to Nrsimhadeva. There is a recording of Srila Prabhupada teaching the prayers to Nrsimhadeva, but this must have been prior to that. This was in New York. He said the words one by one, and Jadurani wrote them down. And then she called up all the other temples in ISKCON, means San Francisco and Montreal, and told them to say the prayer that Swamiji had taught them. our spiritual master has not yet completed his work, so let him finish. And then Brahmananda had the painting of Nrsimhadeva brought into Swamiji's room. And then when Swamiji wanted to use the bedpan for passing water, because it was too much effort to go all the way to the bath, he did in front of, in that room where the picture of Narasimha was there. So he was begging forgiveness of Narasimha, and Brahmananda thought that, well, I was just thinking it's a picture, but Srila Prabhupada is seeing Nrsimha in the hospital. Jadurani brought two of her paintings, one of Radha Krishna and one of Nrsimhadeva. And Prabhupada speaking in a Nrsimhadeva, well, there are different forms of Nrsimhadeva. Actually, most of the forms of Nrsimha we'll see in iconography. That means paintings and the deities. They're mostly more peaceful forms. Yoga, there are so many. There's Ugra Nrsimha, the form ripping Hiranyakashipu to pieces. And not everyone can worship that. Mostly people are afraid to worship because, well, you can imagine. If you are Hiranyakashipu in disguise, which pretty much all of us are in this material world, right? We all have. It's like people talk about getting in touch with your inner baby. My inner baby is Hiranyakashipu. So, unless the heart is, people are afraid in India to worship. When the deity from Mayapur, they went to the Stapati, Atma Tavaprabhu said, we want this deity. I'm not going to carve the deity, and you're not going to worship him. And I can't. He was afraid even to carve the deity. So afraid. Fearsome form. We should be afraid. If we're more in the mood of Hiranyakashipu than Prahlad, we should be afraid. Because, when someone gets angry, they tend to lose their discrimination, right? So both the pictures were there, and Srila Prabhupada, speaking in a very low voice, he said that God is many-sided. Pointing to the picture of Radha and Krishna, here he is in his loving form, loving exchange, and here he is in his angry form. So he's multifaceted. It's all part of being God. He's loving, sweet, kind, beautiful, and he is also the most fearsome. Hiranyakashipu thought, I am the most fearsome. Mrityur namami aham. Death is fearsome, but he is death to death. He's the death of death. Another time, San Francisco, Srila Prabhupada was very sick, and he was in a rented house on the beach somewhere in California, Stinson Beach. Devotees rented a house for him to be peaceful and recover. There was a piano in that house. So Srila Prabhupada asked to play the piano. Did you know that Srila Prabhupada could play the piano? Harmonium is one thing, but that's only one hand. But piano is two hands, right? So somehow or other, at some point, Srila Prabhupada learned to play the piano. Presumably. It could be that he just did by mystic potency. He knew how to play. So he asked to play the piano at one point, and then Kirtananda and Upendra just moved the piano out a bit, and boom, some sound. What is that? Something had fallen down behind the piano. So they got behind and looked. What is it? It is some big rectangular object covered in a cloth. And they opened it. It was a picture of Nrsimhadeva. How did that get there? how did that get there? And Prabhupada asked, how did that get there? How is it hidden behind the piano? And Janaki was there, one of Srila Prabhupada's first disciples, and she had been arranging the house for Prabhupada's arrival, and someone sent a picture of Nrsimhadeva, and she thought it was too horrible. She thought it should be hidden away. Prabhupada explained that materialistic people feel sorry for Hiranyakashipu, but devotees become ecstatic when they see Nrsimhadeva ripping Hiranyakashipu. It is horrible. It's bibhatsa rasa, the rasa of horribleness, ghastliness. He explained how you may think, well, that's not nice. It's not nice, he's killing. But Srila Prabhupada explained that Hiranyakashipu, we have Adi Varaha, that's come the first boar. So we could say that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were the Adi Ugravadi. That's one word for terrorists. There's no word for terrorist in Sanskrit, but you can make up a word. So Ugravadi, someone who has the policy of being ugra, terrible. There's also another word that they use in Bengali. Hindi, Antakavadi, is it? Artak. Attacking. They say Ugravadi also, yeah. So Hiranyakashipu are the first terrorists in the universe. So what should you do? When, so we're told, American troops killed bin Laden, there's no trial. That's against the rule of law, right? But we didn't hear, at least in the Western press, there wasn't any protest about that. And it's become de facto the law that terrorists, wherever they may be, they can just be killed. You don't capture them and give them a trial. In India they do. Yeah. Well, it may be changing, but that, what was his name? Afzal Guru, the lone survivor of the... He was the lone survivor of the Bombay attacks, terrorist attacks. So they spent crores and crores of rupees putting him in a cell and... someone else, anyway. Who was Afzal Guru? Another terrorist. Yeah. They're all from the religion of peace, right? Coincidentally. Oh no, wait a minute, there is Hindu terrorism, right? BBC said, must be true. So in India they do. They could have just shot him in the head and finished him off. But they're civilized. That's called being civilized. I don't know. Quick bullet in the head would have done the job. Because anyway, there's no way he was going to be acquitted. Anyway, we're getting off the topic here. So, well, it's the perverted reflection, right? They're trying to be, these terrorists are trying to be, they're trying to imitate Bhagavan in a perverted way because they want to establish their dharma samsthapanarta. For the sake of establishing the religion of peace, you have to kill all the people who don't belong to it. And then when you've done that, then you have to kill all those who call themselves in this religion, but they're not actually, because they're not in our sect. And then you get back down to Adam and Eve, I guess, by the time you're finished. In 1968, in Montreal, when Srila Prabhupada was training devotees to go and preach in England, whoops, took offense. He's leaving. You're not going to come back with a gun and kill us all, right? Anyway, Nrsimha is protecting us. So don't bother trying. You're going to come back. You've got the bladder problem, I guess. So Srila Prabhupada said, he gave a suggestion for preaching. You go on the street putting on plays of Nrsimhadeva. That's one thing you can do. And he also suggested you could have devotees chanting in costumes of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, like that. You can do Nrsimha play on the street. Rath Yatra, San Francisco. We were talking about that yesterday. So devotees would come from Los Angeles for the Rath Yatra. And Srila Prabhupada was in the temple in Los Angeles, and most of the devotees had left, but that was the morning when someone decided to put a bomb in the temple, which they put it through the back door and it exploded, and a few devotees got cut with little bits of shrapnel. Otherwise, there'd been many devotees around. It could have been something more serious. Then at that time, Srila Prabhupada said, I'm going to teach you a new mantra. So we find in 1966, maybe in New York, it said they first taught it, and again in 1960, what was it? 60, after 68. Then Srila Prabhupada taught the Nrsimha prayers, and it taught it. There's a recording of that. And then that became standard throughout the movement to chant it after the morning and evening arati. And Srila Prabhupada said that now the movement is growing, we can expect the demons to come out. We expect envy. He predicted there'll be more attacks. But devotees shouldn't be afraid. They should go on chanting the names of Nrsimhadeva and go on pushing the movement, and Lord Nrsimha will always protect us. And then he had these prayers, these two prayers that we sing, sent out to all the temples to regularly start chanting. Srila Prabhupada, with his disciples from the West, in Visakhapatnam, in Andhra Pradesh in 1972, they visited Simhachalam. Simha means lion, Achala means hill. So the temple is there of Lakshmi Varaha Narasimhadeva. And Simhachalam was just outside Visakhapatnam. Now it's all merged into the urban sprawl. It's part of the municipality. So Srila Prabhupada took the devotees when he was visiting Visakhapatnam at the invitation of his dear godbrother, Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj. So he was staying in the ashram there, and they went to visit, and he had them chant this prayer. You can go there for darshan, you won't get darshan. People come all the time for darshan, they don't get darshan of Nrsimhadeva. Only one day a year they get darshan. There's Akshaya Tritiya, I believe. Otherwise, if you go inside, it looks like a Shiva lingam. What it is, it's chandan, sandalwood paste, and the deity is sitting underneath that, because otherwise it's too hot. You have to keep him cool. So he's underneath chandan, and one day a year they break it, and that day especially, So many people come for darshan. So Srila Prabhupada also, when the Nrsimha is full of bliss, one of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers, Pradyumna Brahmachari, was a worshipper of Nrsimhadeva. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him Nrsimhananda, one who takes pleasure in Nrsimhadeva. And Srila Prabhupada gave that name, I believe, to 4 disciples, Nrsimhananda. He gave the same name sometimes to more than one. Shamasundar, I believe there were 3, and then there was also Shamasundar Ananda and Shamasundar Sharan, like this. The Nrsimhananda we all know very well, at least when I say we, maybe not all of you, is one of those devotees. Well, now there are many. At first it was Yadu Prabhu and his wife, and then Nrsimhananda became famous for his movies and his camera service. But so many, nowadays everyone's shooting videos. So it was in April 1972 when David Shapiro, he moved into the temple in Los Angeles. His mother wasn't very happy. I think Shapiro must be a Jewish name, is it? Ben Shapiro, I know from Ben Shapiro. It's a Jewish name. So the Jews up to the present day tend to be very tight families, very family conscious. So his mother, she wasn't ecstatic at his joining, and in fact, just the opposite. She was outraged, and she happened to be a journalist. So she went on a letter writing campaign to various newspapers, to government departments, saying that my son has joined this cult and there's so much, they don't eat meat, not even kosher meat, and they don't drink, they don't have illicit sex. You're probably not supposed to do that in Judaism also. So she was complaining, it's too renounced, this is wrong, and she wanted him back. And he tried to pacify her, but he didn't do a very good job at it, because most of the time he was just absorbed in doing service and he forgot. And when he did try, his preaching style wasn't the most recommendable, as is common with new devotees when they're trying to preach to their parents. Well, if you don't surrender to Krishna, he'll come and rip you to pieces. Nrsimhadeva. Maybe, they may say that. You're a demon. And the devotees also, they'd get messages, letters from his mother they're supposed to give to him, and they also forgot. So she was becoming more and more a perverted reflection of Nrsimhadeva. And she even wrote a letter to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada replied, but she wasn't interested. She just wanted her son back, somehow or other. So, when Srila Prabhupada realized this, he told the town president to ask him, you better just go home to your mother. And he refused. He was a good devotee, he'd followed orders, but this time he said, I can't leave. How can I go? I'm not even initiated. I've been here in this movement for a year, but I'm not initiated. I don't have that link with my spiritual master. I won't have any strength. How can I survive there? So Prabhupada was informed. He said, call him. So he came to Prabhupada's quarters and offered obeisance. And Srila Prabhupada was taking prasadam at the time. But Prabhupada spoke to him when he was taking prasadam. So you're having some difficulty with your mother? That's an understatement. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had been informed that he wasn't initiated, he wanted to wait to be initiated. So Prabhupada said, while he's taking prasad, so I'll initiate you. And your name is Nrsimhananda. He was taking prasad. Can you imagine? We're going to have an initiation ceremony and you're just taking some prasadam. There's time and place for everything, right? But he was taking prasadam. There was no regulated principle. How many rounds are you going to chant? So your name is Nrsimhananda. So you go home and you be with your mother and Nrsimhadeva will protect you. You can cook vegetarian food? Yes. So he went home. And he said, Nrsimha, by this name you'll always be protected from your parents. And he gave him some prasad right from his plate. And said, after some time you can come back. Which he did, of course. 1974, Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan with a very, very heavy sickness. And again, he had disciples all over the world chant the prayers to Lord Nrsimhadeva. In 1976, Srila Prabhupada was translating the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam. And when he came to the story of Prahlad, was anyone in the 1976 Mayapur Vrindavan Festival? Anyone here? You were there? Anyone else? You were there? You were there. So it was being circulated that Harikesh, who was traveling with Prabhupada, I heard this. Did you hear this? That Prabhupada is entering more and more into the mood of Prahlad Maharaj as he translates this. Did you hear that at the time? No. He spoke. It was the unpublished. He was just translating. He was speaking on those verses. Speaking on those verses as he was translating, and the international devotees were there. So Srila Prabhupada was very much in that mood. Srila Prabhupada, when he came to America, just before he arrived, he wrote that poem, 2 poems. And what's the reason he went to America? Again, there could be many answers. But he was in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj and in the mood of following his guru. So he quoted that verse in his poem, Naivod Vijay Paradirate Avaitaranyam Tadvirya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chittam Shochetato Vimukha Chetasa Indriyata Maya Sukhaya Paramudvahato Vimudha. Prahlad said to Nrsimhadev, I'm happy. Super soul in Hiranyakashipu's heart had Hiranyakashipu give the name Prahlad to Prahlad. And Prahlad means very happy. But why is he happy? Because of Prahlada Hlada Dai. Because Nrsimhadev is giving him spiritual bliss. So he said, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm always happy I'm always absorbed in thinking of your pastimes and your glories. But I have one unhappiness, seeing all these fools and rascals trying to be happy without you in Maya. And I'm simply thinking how to deliver them. So Srila Prabhupada is very much in that mood, and it became enhanced when he was translating that section. 1977, as Srila Prabhupada had predicted, the demons will become more active as we push on this Krishna consciousness movement. We may think it's a great achievement that the demons are not harassing this movement, but by that standard, we're doing something wrong. They're not harassing people. People don't even know about Hare Krishna. Hardly. So anyway, in 1977, Srila Prabhupada was lying on his bed in Vrindavan, playing his drum. You remember that pastime? Prabhupada playing his drum, lying on the bed. He was playing the Brihad Mridanga. He was going on translating his books. And Brahmananda told him that 2 states have passed laws making this deprogramming legal. Because devotees were getting kidnapped and then tortured and tried to force them to give up Krishna consciousness. So devotees were making court cases against this. So 2 states specifically made it legal that parents can have their adult children kidnapped and subjected to torture to take them out of the Hare Krishna movement. Not just Hare Krishna, but there was the children of God and the Munis, the Jesus freaks. And I think they even did some TM, which is pretty mild. So Brahmananda said 2 states have passed laws making this deprogramming legal. And they also give tax exemption. That means the governments are supporting it. And Prabhupada said, yes, they're afraid these Krishna conscious men may capture the government. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, some of them are saying that the Hare Krishna organization is very powerful and that our ambition is to take over the world. And Prabhupada laughed and said, that's true. Let us see. It's a fight between Krishna and the demons. Let us do our duty and chant Hare Krishna. Everything will be all right. There were so many demons. Prahlad Maharaj was a 5-year-old boy, and his father was such a big demon. Actually, even before Hiranyakashipu was killed by Nrsimha, Prahlad had already shown the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by not being killed by Hiranyakashipu. By all means he was trying to kill, and he couldn't be killed. He became so frustrated. He said, where do you get your power from? That's his admitting defeat. Where do you get your power from to resist me? And Prahlad said, I get my power from the same source as you, from Vishnu. And that made him even more. It was hardly possible for Hiranyakashipu to be more angry, but Prahlad made him more angry. So in that sense, the power of Nrsimhadeva was already shown in Prahlad, even before Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad wasn't even bothered about, for his own sake, he wasn't bothered about killing Hiranyakashipu. So, Srila Prabhupada said, his father was such a big demon, but still Prahlad Maharaj was victorious. Similarly, you are all like Prahlad Maharaj. The fight is there. Chant Hare Krishna. Depend on Krishna. You will come out victorious. Nrsimhadeva will come. The poison of Krishna consciousness is acting now. That is good. If we come out victorious, that will be a great victory. Some of the names Srila Prabhupada gave to disciples. He gave the name Nrsimhadas to 2 disciples. Nrsimhadasi to 1 disciple. Nrsimhadevi Das is given. Nrsimha Chaitanya Das. Nrsimhananda Das. Nrsimhananda Das. Nrsimhananda Das. Oh, we only have 2 listed here. I thought it was 4. And there's Nrsimhananda Devi Dasi, Ahobila Nrsimhadas, Rakshogna, the name of Nrsimhadev, who kills the Rakshas, Narahari, he gave the name Narahari twice, Nrihari, and Ugradangstra, it means who has fearful teeth, which can also be a name for Varaha. So we had remembrance of Nrsimhadev and Srila Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. What's the next one? Hiranyakashipu ki. See someone. I warned you. I've got Hiranyakashipu in the form of urine in my bladder right now. So someone else can answer the question. Okay, quick. Oh, that's a big story. That's now I hear this. Bhavananda. You don't know the story, but
Something to do with the attack?
yeah, because the deities were, the Prabhupada's deities were stolen.
Yeah, so
It's a big story.
Mayapur got attacked, and after that, Prabhupada...
Well, I tell you what, you're giving a class a little later, right? Why don't you look it up and tell all the devotees? Because it's a long story, and it's an amazing story. Every twist and turn of it is amazing. So have fun later. Enjoy. Hare Krishna. Must be there somewhere in the database. Hare Krishna. Actually, we should say Hiranyakashipu ki jai, because if it wasn't for him, Nrsimha wouldn't have come. Sri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha.
Well, he's liberated now, right?
Okay, take this. And Gopal. Oh, yeah. Don't go away. Stay right. No, you can come, Gopal. Yeah, stay. I have to go. No.
Hare Krishna, devotees are requested to please sit. As Maharaj is asking everyone to stay. There's some